Hello, we have another CIRF report, and can I just go ahead and say, yet again, this is probably the biggest CIRF report to date. I do have some surprises here. It is going right in line with what you're seeing in the real world. It is amazing how not just the astrology, that's eye-watering right there, but the I-Ching, the Dreambot, all of that, all synchronizing to the beat of the collective influences, and you're seeing the headlines coming in exactly as played out. So this is no different. It's a big week. I just because of this schedule, I can't watch the Senate hearing. I got to watch a little bit of the Trump speech, but it kind of bums me out that I couldn't do that in preparation for this CIRF report. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get started. This is being recorded just as the Senate hearing is starting, so keep that in mind. Here's what we have, and I'm not going to do a lot of explaining for new folks. There is a beginner's guide below, but I'm going to try and rip through this. We have a direct overlap with all of our circles, and I'm going to keep one of them secret, Hexagram 49 for our I-Ching. And I'm also going to keep the main influence a secret until we get to that point. But you have the U.S. presidential election, which is the 6th today. Senate hearing for that presidential election is happening as I speak. And then the astrology, this is the purple circle. Not that that matters because they're all superimposed over each other. It's a highest congruency score ever. But the astrology, we're starting off with a bang with a massive T-square. We have a growing number of squares, which is pressure, conflict. And we have Mars conjuncting Uranus. Oh my God, change in the way we fight and do things. 3 of the planets this week are going to transition into new signs. And by the way, is my audio better? Make sure you comment. Is this good? Is this a good audio, or is this still too low? I want to know. I want to make sure that this audio is perfect. I think I got high enough without it sounding too fuzzy. All right. And then in the astrology, a new moon in Capricorn, but conjunct with transformative, powerful Pluto. And then the Dreambot, weird Dreambot. We're going to talk about that first. We have like a rally going on. That's happening right now in Washington, D.C. And then Atlas shrugged. So that'd be interesting to look at. All right. It's all overlapped, and I'm not giving you the overall influence until later, but let's go ahead and get started after this. Here's the Dreambot. Dreambot looks at all the collective dreams. And we have in the red arrows, we have a whole litany of indicators that might look like a rock festival, but rock is, that energy, that same energy is in that same energy is in crowds of like rallies, maybe even football games, any sort of kind of a high yang energy. That's what we're looking for, but went ahead and called this meme massive festival / rally, which is happening right now. So it's clearly in the collective mind, and it is the highest word here in this grouping is festival. So it might, what you're seeing in Washington, D.C., the major intent there energetically, not that people are trying to make this a festival. That's not what I'm trying to say, but when you put everybody together, that collective consciousness together is a festival, I promise you. And if you've seen any of the clips with, the people flying over there in the full airplanes, it is much more festive anyway. And then Atlas shrugged, because you have stranger, Atlas, train, Y, put Y's in there because there's always this John Galt, and who is John Galt, all this. If you haven't seen Atlas shrugged, basically the government gets too big, making all the decisions for everything. Sounds like right now. So you got these wise people who basically just find a separate plot of land. I think it was in Colorado, and go live on by themselves for their own reasons. And you've got that stranger at the top, which I think would be John Galt. But anyway, I think that's a really important movie for these times, and the collective unconscious is sort of pointing that out. Is there's sort of like some it takes a big catalyst for people, wise people, to just kind of move out of society and start their own society. And again, I'm not proposing this for anybody. I'm just telling you what the collective unconscious is doing. Let's look at the astrology. By the way, before we get started, two things. First, how was the cohesion of last week? I found that very strange as the influence from the I-Ching, but holy cow, could it have been more right? Talk about cohesion down in Georgia today. You see massive amounts of people, and that matches, it rolls right into what the collective is doing now. So I find that incredible. And then just a quick shout out to Kanakuk. If you want to infuse your food and edibles with medicines and cannabis, even CBD, CBG. I just recently learned that CBP is a big cancer killer and pretty new in the endocannabinoid system. So anyway, go to kanakuk.com. Let's go ahead and get started with the overview. Look at all this stuff that's going on. So you got Uranus. After this week, Uranus is going to go direct. Not a big deal compared to everything else going on. You have Mars, Venus, and Mercury all going into new signs at the first part of this week. Did I mention this week is going from the 7th to the 13th? So should have mentioned that earlier. Now, Mercury is going to be exalted in Aquarius, so crystal clear thinking. We're going to go through all those things. Venus going into Capricorn, some more goal-oriented sort of relationship stuff. And then Mars moving into Taurus, which doesn't really like to be in that slower, sort of methodical Earth corner sort of experience everything. Screw experiencing. I just want to do stuff. That's what Mars says. So he's in detriment. And he's got some weakness there. And then as he goes through and hits, this is Mars conjunct Uranus. It's not going exact until the 20th, but it's well within those 8 degrees. So it's technically conjunct, and that's going to be some massive overhaul of the way we do things. And as above, so below, massive way of how you fight for your issues. Same thing collectively. The massive change in the fight. Change is the Uranus, fight is the warrior Mars. But he's in detriment. Actually, both are in, I think Uranus is in fall in Taurus. Fall meaning that there's a little greater weakness there, but detriment is the greatest weakness of the attribute, and that's what Mars is. So neither one of these planets like being in Taurus. So that'll be really interesting. It's going to be out in the material world, but the way we fight and the change, and it's going to be slower, possibly because of the Taurus influence. It's going to be more bullheaded. That's the Taurus influence, is I'm right, you're wrong kind of a thing. And there's nothing you can say to change my mind. That's great. We don't need any more of that, right? And then look at this at the end. We're working up to this massive, unprecedented squaring going on, which increases the pressure, the frustration, the template of conflict and protesting to a maximum. Did you guys see, speaking of protesting, did you guys see the 2x4s laid out and the propane tanks laid out in the alleyways beside the buildings that apparently they want to reduce the value of by way of looting and rioting, potentially in Washington, D.C. Anyway, throw that out. Thursday the 7th. This is look at all these notes here. Let me get some more highlighting here, but we got a big T-square. This is a dual, triple. It's at least a double T-square, because you got Mars and Uranus over here, and then you got multiple planets over here, and then Moon is square to 2 of those. So you've got The T-square is a trap. I'm finding that might be one of the few pleasant traps that we have. And of course, I'm a little different. I'm kind of used to this breakthrough thing in my life, right? Lots of losses and tragedy, but then like growing new roots out of that, that's the trap. I don't find that a bad thing. And as you guys know from listening to these CIRF reports, astrology doesn't give you good or bad. It gives you energies, and it's your reaction that determines whether or not it's good or bad. So in this one, I'm going to be in this trap. I'm not going to feel trapped. I'm going to feel, okay, so first of all, let's break this down. Sun is getting closer to Pluto. It's 7 degrees away. We're going to do a countdown of this conjunction. It's about a degree a day is what the sun typically does. Pluto is hardly moving at all. And so that's an overhaul of your ego, or your identity. Sun in Capricorn is kind of like, what do you see in the future? Very future oriented. What can I do? What more can I do? What goal can I achieve? And that gets overhauled. Pluto, inner power, yes, but death and rebirth. And I got to tell you, it feels like you're dying in this. So ego could really feel like it's dying in this period as the sun approaches Pluto. By the way, as the sun approaches Pluto, not quite to it, but very close to it, the moon will make its new moon right at Pluto, or 1 degree away. So it's basically a death and rebirth. You already have a death and rebirth cycle in the new moon. It's a shorter cycle. And then laid on top of that is this extraordinary, deep, subconscious, powerful death and rebirth laid on top of the already death and rebirth cycle. So that's really interesting. And it might feel like things are dying or you're dying, but realize it's just the beginning, right? That's the trick with the Pluto thing. Whenever you feel like it's the end, it's the beginning of something extraordinary. Then you have Pluto and Mercury conjunct. So the way that you think about things is going to transform. And then just wait until Mercury goes into Aquarius and gets exalted, and your thoughts just spring to life and become crystal clear. Things make sense all of a sudden. We're going to talk about that as well. And then Mercury is conjunct with Saturn. This is thinking about the way things are. This is a very solid way of thinking, very rational position, based on facts. Facts are Saturn, laws of nature, laws in general, governship. It's just the status quo. And then you have Saturn and Jupiter. We've been talking about those forever. Jupiter brings in that positive and optimistic sense. So that's why I'm saying this T-square sort of it could be a nice, pleasant trap. But I probably won't see it as a trap. Now over here, you have Mars is going to get closer and closer to Uranus. It's not going to go exact until the 20th, but you're going to feel greater and greater energy. Mars, by the way, just entered into Taurus, is in a detriment state. So there's some unease there, but also some weakness. Mars has spent a lot of time in retrograde and direct in Aries, and so gave you the ability to feel strong, yangful, be able to go and get stuff done. Now it might be a little bit more sluggish, might be take a little bit more time to get stuff done, sort of thing. Might feel lazy. Taurus kind of known for sitting around and being stubborn. So with Mars with a stubbornness, that's going to create a big block to you succeeding this week. So watch out for stubbornness, particularly in your ability to get things done and or fight for something. And then there's just a double change, because you've got Mars that entered the new sign, and then you've got Mars conjunct Uranus, which is all about change, eccentricism, and breaking out of the mold, which is weird because Taurus is staying in the mold, staying stubborn. All right, what else? Man, there's just so much here, guys. It's okay. There's a hidden sort of opportunity here. This that little sextile. You can barely see it, but it's the hidden opportunity of Sun and Neptune, hidden opportunity of your ego dreams. So as your ego is feeling like it's dying, it's probably going to go, the energy is going to go over here to Neptune to get some dreams and think of a more positive future and positive outcome. That's okay. Those are opportunities. This is a time to dream, guys and gals. Time to dream. Get into the future and dream. Friday the 8th, you have Venus now with a double change. Trine, Venus trine. Now, Venus just entered into Capricorn. So out of the passionate, intense fire of Sagittarius, now we're into the slow, methodical, I can do better, sort of Venus arrangement. I could feel a lot more earthy. Capricorn is an earth sign, so a lot of sensing more experience. That goes well with Venus. Venus can experience. It can be an earth sign. And also Venus can be a Libra, home to Libra as well. So it works well with air and earth. All right, so Venus trine Mars, that's still the passion, but it's not like it was before, because before it was Mars at home and in fire and Venus in Sagittarius. So there's still a lot of passion, but it turns very natural and unexplainable, I guess, and you just shut up and just experience it, sort of thing. Venus is trine with home and Taurus, so that's nice, easy energy for her. It's a nice, pleasant equality there. And then trine with Uranus, so easy to change your mind. Capricorns can change their mind. It can be sporadic in that's possible. In our countdown, Sun is now 6 degrees away from Pluto. And interestingly, Mars is 6 degrees away from Uranus. We have a growing amount of squares. And Mercury just went into Aquarius. Thoughts are getting sharper. It's exalted. Mercury does very well in the air signs. Home to what was I thinking? Gemini. Mercury is in Aquarius, another air sign, and so thinking is stronger and crystal clear. Being able to see with precision, being able to analyze with precision, being able to learn more than you normally have in the past. This is a nice period of time, and Mercury, before it hits the end of Aquarius, will actually go into retrograde. So you're going to get some extra time in some good thoughts, good crystal clear rationale. And that was Friday the 8th. Saturday the 9th, still got all the squares. We're 5 degrees from Mars and Uranus. We're 5 degrees from Sun and Pluto. Moon is starting to approach its final descent into the new moon. And your emotions, moon, your mothering nature, is adjusting to change. So that makes sense. It's a double change or a big change. So expect your emotions to change on January 9th. Sunday the 10th, your emotions are going to be conflicted with your dreams. So you had your opportunity before, but that's gone now. Sextile with Sun is gone. And we pick up a quick moon square Neptune. And so maybe frustrated with your dreams. Maybe it's not panning out. Maybe you're feeling trapped because Sagittarius wants to just go, and maybe there's blocks. There's blocks to that energy. So feeling, maybe even if you are going, it sort of feels like you are trapped in a way. Growing number of squares. On Monday, the 11th, we are in our countdown. Sun is 3 degrees away from Pluto, so it's starting to feel more breakdown portion of this, and you won't feel the breakthrough unless you perceive it. You're going to have to probably do some change. Hey, this feels like the end, but it's really the beginning. Just remind yourself. Mars 4 degrees away from Uranus, getting stronger. Mars has time to experience the Taurus energy and sort of hopefully get good with it. But then just as soon as it does, boom, it's changing. Mars is not very adaptable in Taurus, so it takes some time. It's like a locomotive now, and locomotive trains, it takes some time to get up to speed, and now it's hard to shift gears. So if you've got some monumental change, Mars might be, your yang might be fighting an old battle here. So we really need to use your mind this week. Okay. Mental acuity is strong. So use your mind to really analyze if you're doing the right things at the right time, because, Mars, your yangness is steadfast. Tuesday is where the new moon is, and we're at almost midnight. I mean, it's 10:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's a new moon in Capricorn, and you look at all these planets there. They're not all together, as you can see. You've got to look at where these degrees are. So Venus isn't quite there. So really altogether you have, in the same speck of sky, you have the moon and the sun and Pluto. That's really it. Yeah, Pluto is conjunct with Saturn, but I'm just talking about in the new moon, those three planets are together in a conjunction. And in this new moon, it's in Capricorn, so it's a new opportunity to achieve something. This is the time, and it's overlaid again with that Pluto influence. Not only is Pluto the breakthrough thing, which is exactly what a new moon is representing anyway, it's going to feel extra cyclic. It's going to feel extra ending, and you're going to have to generate, and it should be easy, generate a goal for yourself. This is the time to do it. Envision the future, create some numbers, put some very earthy things down, the real life things. And this is while the world is burning. There's the squares, look. So, you're going to have to balance both of these. At the collective level, we're all feeling conflicted, like warring, like protesting, pressured, second guessing everybody else, that sort of thing. But on top of that, internally, as above, so below, down in your own personal experience, you've got a new moon, a new cycle in Capricorn. So get your objectives together for your personal life. And yes, it's hard because you don't know what's happening out in the real world. You don't know what's happening next. These politicians are all over the place, and there's a big war going on there. All right, 13th, just more squares. Sun is just about to Pluto, and so getting real, that feeling of death. Just to be honest with you, feeling of death is getting almost as to its climax. Remind yourself, this is the beginning, getting closer to the beginning. Mars is 3 degrees away from Uranus and more squares. All right, here. We'll take this off, and this is where I'm going to show you what the main influence is. I-Ching reading for 1/7 or the 7th through the 13th in 2021 in January says it is, I can't remember the hexagram number. I didn't write it down, but it's lake over fire. It's if you can imagine this, it's fire that's inside the lake. The lake is on top of the fire. Wouldn't that put the fire out? It's the joyous over the clinging, whatever that means. But look at some of these recent tweets. Have been on Capitol Hill all day. We are in a constitutional crisis and also in a revolutionary moment. Another tweet says, I got to move this one first. It says, is this the start of the next revolution, in all capital letters? Oh, so you see where I'm going? This is hexagram 49. The influence is revolution. Yeah, I've got a lot to say. Let me just read this out. Change often causes conflict, and conflict brings about change. This is matching the astrology to a T. The hexagram refers to a time in the cycle of human affairs when things are stirring up and the hint of dramatic change is in the air. Yes. And start thinking about revolution not as an action or a noun, as more of an influence to you personally. All right. Start, as I'm reading this, thinking about revolution not as an act or a noun or a history event, but an influence to you personally. In order to succeed, a revolution must be in alignment with the laws of nature and good timing. It must begin at the right moment, gather support from a broad base of people, be guided by sincere and capable leaders, and most important of all, address a real need. And I think we can all agree there's a major need needing to be fulfilled here. The strength of the force of change will always be in proportion to the urgency of the need being championed. This is true whether the revolution is in government, business, education, or your own personal affairs. It's all of those right now. Revolutionary change ushers in a period when chaos arises from order. That's very much an opposite of some of the things that we've heard throughout the year in these CIRF reports. Let's remember that not all order is good or not all chaos is bad. Chaos is often an integral part of the way things evolve. And I would start to say that both Pluto and Uranus that we've been focusing on offers us a lot of chaos out of the order. This hexagram reminds us to have the courage to radically change and renew the way we bring ourselves to life. In this way, you can channel chaos to your cause and unleash a new power on behalf of the good. This, without telling you what the solution is yet, it matches the solution to a T. Having the courage to radically change and renew the way we bring ourselves to life. Combat between forces of dark and light are cyclical. As such, one can become aware of these cycles and master them through preparation. There's two lines here. They sort of contradict each other. Are they in contradiction of each other? And so why would you ask? You know, if it were me, like personally choosing some of these hexagrams to go along with the astrology, I think I would have selected revolution, but I'm not sure I would have made that the influence. That's why I'm asking you to think of this as more of an influence. And I might have had these things reversed. But first, we've got to remember that these hexagrams are giving us a change in energy. But plus, they're also giving us an indication for what behaviors. In other words, there's not a lot of behavior from the standpoint, not a lot of practical behavior that most of us can enact if revolution is our solution. But you're all, I mean, I just on those tweets alone, I bet every one of you, I can't say all, but most of my clients have reported feeling this sense of revolution in the air. The song today, which I'm going to post the link down below, I should have mentioned this earlier, is Revolution by The Cult. And then it says, what does revolution mean to you? And it goes on to say, pictures of never-ending dreams. I can't see what these images mean, locked inside me. This is the revolution. It's the releasing of those dreams, a new life. And I find this interesting that their title of that album that it came off of, great album, by the way, is called Love, was the name of the album. All right, with that, let's do our transition and let's get into the solution. Most important part today. We're already at 30 minutes. All right. And if you have not been to intervention.com, I encourage you to go there. If you need help with your life purpose, that's a great one. But also doing astrology readings, intervention.com. And we can do human design as well, human design readings. All right. The solution. But first, before I get to the hexagram, here's your indicator. This is I listened to this speech. He said in part of the speech, watch what happens over the next couple of weeks. You watch what's going to come out. Watch what's going to be revealed. Does that not sound like, uh-oh, I can't move it. Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. How about I delete it? There we go. Shock. Thunder over thunder. Now do you understand why we had those change lines that were contradictory? It's because they wanted the universe that's helping us with these I-Ching readings pointed us to shock. This is the solution now. Now, conceptually, I think I would say if I was choosing these I-Ching readings to match, I think I would have chosen shock to be the influence and revolution to be, but that's not the way that it's realistic for most people. And so here we go. Shock as the solution. One hears thunder unexpectedly. First comes fear, then a sharpened vision. Recall a close brush with danger, a falling branch, a barely avoided automobile accident, an escape from a violent confrontation. Such incidents arouse every nerve in your body, perhaps in a brief wave of panic. But soon, once the danger has passed, the initial reaction gives way to heightened awareness. So that's our first solution, is watch for heightened awareness. Then a critical factor is a willingness to open up to fear. There's your second technique, is to make sure that you're open, adaptable, but open to having fear. Fear is not the enemy. It's your reaction to the fear that can be bad. Rather than running away from it, no escaping, enabling you to transform anxiety into laser sharp perception. And we had the exalted Mercury going into Aquarius. So again, your perception as part of Mercury, your ability to see how things are playing out, are sharpened. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful opportunity to be alive. All right, so we have three things here: heightened awareness, willingness to open up to fear, and then transform your anxiety into laser sharp perception. Then look within and search your hearts for strengths and face the world with courage. We need courage. Foster courage. And you can just tell yourself to be courageous. Okay? Courage can mean daring to take the unexpected path, to bounce back quickly after failure, or to have faith in the meaning of life when confronting with a great loss or even death. It is essential that your inner compass be aligned with the magnetic force that guides you to the fulfillment of your deepest desires and highest destiny. What is on your list of deepest desires and highest destiny? Is it freedom? Is it disclosure? Is it justice? Some people say it's equality. That's fine. There's not a right answer for everybody. We talked about the age of Aquarius is more freedom and disclosure, but these are about your personal values. Prepare yourself to take some jarring surprise in stride. Meditate a little bit, find your center. Calm reaction to the losses and gains that may arise will help you surmount these shocks to your system. Remember what change does to you. It shocks you. It makes you adapt. It suppresses your immune system as you get adapted to the new stimulus. So watch out for that. Don't keep fighting it. Take some breaks. Assimilate, and it could be mental. All right. I didn't pick the new moon as our calculation because revolution has more to do with Mars and Uranus, changing the way you fight, changing what you fight for. And there was a double change on Mars, and so I chose that. Now, I have indicated where the new moon will be. And so if you want to go do your own research with this, I'm all for it. And that is what the new moon is actually on Hexagram 61 in the Rave. And your solution will be Sagittarius. So you can do that for yourself if you'd rather do the new moon solution. But this chart is for Mars and Uranus. And both of those bracket Hexagram 27. And the solution is, dun, 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 the warrior Aries. Ironically, Mars just left tropical Aries. and now is in, if you go out in the night sky, will be in its home of Sidereal Aries. So giving it a natural ability to be strong again, even though it's in the influence, the tropical Taurus. All right, so hexagram 27 is the gate of caring. You're going to be forced to care. Your indifference is going to go out the window. All right, that's just where we are in our society. And I hate that it's a bipolar sense. You got to pick one or the other, good versus evil. Yeah, I get it, but that's just the way it is. You're gonna find that maybe not desire, but you're gonna be forced to choose. So the hexagrams on the 27 of the rave say line 5, the executor, the ability to distribute effectively the resources of others. I was thinking in terms of preparation supplies, as if shit hits the fan, most of you are going to be very well prepared. We've been talking about this for quite a while. And I don't think this necessarily has to do with material things like survival things. I think it can be mental. So helping others, like distributing logic to others, not as a sense of forcing them to change their mind. I wouldn't do that here. I would do mentally helping them facilitate adaptation into the new paradigm. How about that? Because all of you guys are better prepared than your status quo, although it is a silent majority. Line 2 says self-sufficiency, the obvious law that to give, one must have. I think it's saying a few things. Be prepared to be in the position of the mother or the nurturer, but more in a position to be self-sufficient. It's not the emphasis to be the savior of everyone else. If you need to be the savior or the mother of other folks who are going through very traumatically through this change, then I would focus on the mental side of things and emotional side. Be caring, but there's no sense, according to this rave, no sense of requirement for you to give up all your food and water and survival gear so that others can survive too. Although that's not wrong to do that, but make sure you're taken care of first, that you put your face ventilator on first before you put your kids on. So the way the airlines tell you to do it. All right, let's get to the final slide. Here we go. So revolution is in the air, and it's as an influence. And I think it's hard to deny that it's there as I look at this, as you look at what's going on in the world right now. Not just America. This is a global phenomenon. And here's the solution. I-Ching 51 says, shock, heightened awareness, face the world with courage, prepare for a jarring surprise. So it's about preparation and then nurturing once that surprise starts to unfold. The solution isn't to be shocked. That's not what the I-Ching says. And we read through all that, but the Rave Mandala says gate 27, lines 2 and 5, prepare for self-sustainability and be an executor of this revolution and shock. Remember that internet and communications might go out. So I think there might be a whole lot of shock around a community. That would be a great place to put your nurturing, especially emotionally and mentally. Sidereal Aries. This is amazing. In my opinion, amazing that part of the solution is including this Sidereal Aries as a solution. We need that power. We need that confidence. We need that directness, transparency, vigorous passion, the ardent, because it might be sustained. How long do you think this thing's going to last? David Wilcox says maybe not very long, but hey, it could be wrong. It could be years. So prepare for worst case as well. That's in this run. Prepare and find strength. Must be the best warrior in all fronts. And we're talking mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and there's even more. But those are the basics. Make sure you're finding strength in all those areas, not just one of them. Okay, all of them. Be balanced. Get your strength up in all the areas. So it's not a time to escape, say on drugs, alcohol, and not a time to just, do a bunch of entertainment and stuff and get yourself sidetracked. No, this is about really purposefully taking time out from news, entertainment, and really get your energy up. Make sure your sleep is premium. Okay. I find it sort of hard to get good sleep recently. And that's because I know the shoe's about to drop. It's a transformation of life itself. After a period of shock and revolution, expect heightened awareness from jarring surprises. Lose your indifference. Most likely, you'll be forced to choose a side. Indifference won't be possible in this time. The Aries warrior is the solution: direct, transparent, vigorous, confident, and intense. Watch out for impulsiveness. That's the downside of Aries. Although a lot of these, some of these situations might call for some impulsiveness, but it's going to be filtered through your values, filtered through your awareness, and bring in mind. Mental acuity is strong this week, and that's a real gift for us, because without that, we'd be sort of just winging it everywhere. But everything will make sense. Even your impulsiveness will make sense. All right. And watch out for impatience. Ooh, that's a big one for me. You know how many times I've heard I'm done with it in the past couple of days? I'm there too, guys. All right. No escaping for the first time. I'm not sure what I was saying here. No escaping for the time being. All the emotions rise and fall. There's going to be a lot of different emotions. You're going to see them cycle really fast, I would imagine. Surprise, shock, or anger, or hurt, or despair, or maybe feeling sorry for others. These kind of conflicted emotions. Let them rise and fall. That's the bottom line. Take care of yourself. Make sure your cup is full before this goes down. Make sure that you don't give more of your cup. That will prevent you from being self-sustainable. Learn to say no. Keep your boundaries. But if you have extra in your cup, feel free to share that. All right. See if I can think of anything else. Let me know what I forgot. I can do a special video depending on what's happening here. Maybe a live. I'll do a YouTube live if YouTube is still alive on Sunday. How about that? Sunday evening. Let me know if that would be of interest to you. We can go through some comments. We can go through the recent news, comparing it to the CIRF report and the energies, the influence, and the solution. And then we can check in with all you with questions and see where we need to go next. All right. Have a wonderful week. It's a big week. Could be the biggest week in American history. But then again, you know what? There could be nothing. And that's sick. That's my impatience playing into. I've been waiting for 12 years now. And I have proof of that when I got out of the military, I said, these guys, you need to find the right enemy. And that's what I'm waiting for. So anyway, this is exciting. I'm excited to be in this time, and I hope you are too. You have maybe a couple more days to get just some preparation stuff, and don't live in fear, but be open to fear. Don't live in it. Use it to motivate you. Okay? Don't waddle in it. It's no reason to waddle. Channel it to heightened attention, heightened awareness, and then motivating for self-sufficiency. That's the bottom line. And strength in all the different areas. All right. Let me know what I can do better, and we'll see you hopefully in another CIRF report next week. See ya.